What up, guys? Welcome back to the Holderhek channel. Today we're going to be going over your gearing guide for Blackwing Lair, as well as how to currently gear for and gear in Blackwing Lair for the chance that you will be using a hammer. Gigawhat from Curranax messaged me on Twitter the other day and was talking about how, I've made a bunch of guides for axes, because really, as a shaman, you gotta use an axe to negate as much glancing damage as possible. We have to get rid of that. But some of us have Hand of Ragnaros, some of us use the Unstoppable Force, some of us are orcs and Tauren, so that's my bad for not making enough guides for hammers and stuff. So we're going to be going into how to gear if you're using a hammer, how to gear if you're going like full elemental build, and just stuff like that. So I want to thank Gigawhat for pointing that out to me and actually giving me something to make a video about this week, because I was really not sure at all, so thank you. And to anybody else, if you have any ideas on videos you'd like me to make or any topics you'd like me to cover, please just reach out to me. I live to serve the WoW Classic community. I'd like to do a quick shout out to this week's sponsor, me. For whenever you need shaman content in World of Warcraft, you should definitely check out Holderhek on twitch.tv/theholderhek, and you should definitely like and subscribe to Holderhek on YouTube, especially when you like shaman stuff. So let's thank Holderhek for sponsoring this video this week, and we'll go right into the guide. This is going to be your best in slot moving into Blackwing Lair and farming Blackwing Lair, utilizing a hammer as your weapon. Obviously, you could use different hammers, but I've picked the best one in the game so far, and I'm just going to assume that if you're using a hammer, you're probably using this hammer. Although, the Draconic Maul is okay, and the Herald of Woe is a fairly good weapon. Now, we're just going to move straight down the line. I've talked about a few of these items before, because the good news about playing an Enhancement Shaman is that a lot of these items you get in Phase 1, you almost never replace. And that's great, but at the same time, it's also not really great. But anyway, what are you going to do? So, right down the list, Crown of Destruction, it's BIS forever. You shouldn't really have competition for it. Get the Crown of Destruction. Onyxia Tooth Pendant, also BIS for a very, very long time. Get the Head of Onyxia. It's fairly simple to do. That thing you're going to be wearing until, God, I feel like Phase 6. At some point you can replace it, but, it's like a year and a half away from now. Taut Dragonhide shoulder pads. These end up replacing your Black Dragon Scale shoulders, or whatever else you were wearing, potentially True Strike shoulders. This is a gigantic upgrade over True Strike shoulders, so that's nice. Their only downside is they're horrifically ugly, but whatever, what are you gonna do? Cloak of Draconic Might, I take this personally over the Cloak of Firemaw, because it's like 50 attack power is nice, but there's no crit, and we do need crit. We utilize crit. Flurry uptime is a thing. If you manage to kill world bosses, you can get the Puissant. I don't know anybody that knows how to pronounce this cape, okay? So we're just gonna call it the Puissant cape, whatever. If you want to use this thing to get some hit in there, that's fine. It's a side grade from Cloak of Firemaw, or potentially an upgrade if you see it as an upgrade. But I just go right in the middle. I get Cloak of Draconic Might because I'm gonna get hit from somewhere else, and still having that 16 agility for crit and dodge is actually nice. I like it. Savage Gladiator. Some of you are on 500 runs in BRD without getting this thing, and you're willing to settle for the Ogre Forged Tuberk, and that's totally okay. I totally understand that. This thing's great, but it's not like blow your brains out great, okay? But if you can get it, you should get it. The Wrist Guards of True Flight, we need the hit from these things. Also, the Agility, that's basically one crit, and the Intellect it's okay. These are great bracers, you should get them. Chromatic Gauntlets, these are available in Phase 3. You are going to need a Dragon Scale Leatherworker to create them. They are really, really great. They don't have any stats, they have resistances, but like no stats. But otherwise, spell crit, melee crit, 44 attack power, that's really nice. You're not going to replace those until Phase 5. Therazane's Link, fantastic item. We should be uncontested on this. Hunters want their 8 of 8 Dragon Stalker for that debuff, so you should always get this thing first. If you don't, tell the hunter who wants it that he's an idiot, and he'll probably say, yeah, I'm a hunter. Devil Sore leggings. We're going to be keeping these for a very, very long time. Unfortunately, we don't really replace these until Phase 4, at which point you can try to get the Darkheart pants off one of the green dragons. I don't remember which one it is, but if you're on my server, or a server like my server, where there's entire guilds that basically camp the world bosses 24 hours a day, you're probably never going to get world boss loot. So, like I said, with the Puissant Cape, or the Darkheart pants, you're probably going to be using this stuff for a very, very long time. So enchant your Devil Sore leggings and get used to them, because you're going to be looking at them for like a year and a half. Now we come into an item that's going to be hotly contested in Blackwing Lair. The rogues are probably going to be mad at you for trying to get these, and you're going to have to fight them for it, but tell them to deal with it, really. If you need the hit, this is the best hit boot in the game. 2% hit, 44 attack power, no crit, and there's ways to side grade these things later on in AQ 20, but for right now, that's a ton of attack power, and I should definitely pick those up. You're going to pick those up too. Quick Strike Ring, that's from Molten Core. You know, if you can get a Quick Strike Ring, absolutely fantastic. This ring is so good. You don't replace the Quick Strike Ring until Max Rammus. And even then, it's not even that big of an upgrade. Quick Strike Ring is incredible. Pick one up as soon as you possibly can. The Circle of Applied Force, you got a little bit more than 1 crit. You got 24 attack power, 9 stamina. This thing's great. You know, if you've done Holderkek Valley, you're going to have Don Julio's band. That thing's, you know, fine. You can swap that thing in and out for Quick Strike or Circlet of Applied Force or Circle of Applied Force. But this would be BIS. This is what you're trying to go for. Now, the Drakefang Talisman, the most hotly contested item probably in all of Blackwing Lair. Fury Warriors want this, Rogues want this, you want this. This one's gonna be a stretch. If you can get the Drakefang Talisman, it's gonna solve your hit problems for like ever. If you can't get the Drakefang Talisman, then, you know, there's a definite case to be made for the Dark Moon card Maelstrom. This one right here, it procs quite a bit, and doing 200 to 300 nature damage it's pretty cool. It's nice. It kind of replaces your Hand of Justice for that, because it procs a little bit more than Hand of Justice. I don't know the exact proc percentage, but I know it's way more than, you know, 2% on a melee swing. Its PPM is pretty high, and it does a fairly good amount of damage. So you could make an argument for Maelstrom being, you know, pretty damn good in that scenario. But if you can get a Drakefang Talisman, I mean, you're good for a very, very, very long time. And Black Hand's Breath, we don't replace that thing till Max Rammus. Going down, looking at the stats, you're going to add 5% crit to this because it doesn't take into account Thundering Strikes. And your hit chance is 6%, so you'd add 3% from Nature's Guidance, and you'd be up to 9% hit. Scrolling down, you'd see the enchants you're going to be using, you'd see the craftable items and their materials. Going over enchants really quick, there is a case to be made for putting haste on the Crown of Destruction, haste on your pants, and haste on your gloves, having a constant 3% haste. People will say that's 3% more damage, and that scales more with gear. And you know what? They're probably right, but I like putting strength on stuff because I like bigger numbers. So if you want to put haste on everything, feel free. Haste benefits more towards longer fights. If your guild kills stuff in like under a minute, haste probably isn't all that useful, but you know, if you want to be the absolute min-max, then, you know, maybe put haste. But I personally recommend strength on pretty much anything you can put strength on. Now I want to talk about two things. One being the Black Dragon Scale set, and two, how you would gear if you used an axe. Now, the funny thing is, with the Black Dragon Scale set, is the 3-piece on this set is actually so good that if you were getting the shoulders, legs, and boots, you would literally be wearing this 3-piece until AQ. It's that good. Well, Is it that good, or is our itemization that bad? I'll leave that up to you to decide. This would be what you would be wearing if you're using an axe like Spinal Reaper or the Drake Talon Cleaver. The funny thing about using an axe, especially an axe that is this good, is that on boss fights, the Drake Talon Cleaver or Spinal Reaper actually beats out the Hand of Rag on damage just due to the amount of damage we lose from glancing blows. I know that's crazy, and if you already have the Hand of Rag, it's going to be somewhat difficult to make an argument that you should get another great weapon. The good news is there is so many great weapons in Blackwing Lair. Procuring a Drake Talon Cleaver is not actually going to be that difficult for you. Everything here with an axe, a lot of it stays the same. Obviously, with the change being the Black Dragon Scale shoulders, legs, and boots, giving you that 3-piece. We're going to be switching out wrist guards of stability instead of the True Flight because that is just a ridiculous amount of attack power and we don't need the hit. And everything else stays the same. Again, with Drake Talon there, you got your 2% hit. You kind of need that in this particular build, but you know, if you were to get the Puissant Cape, you can get 1% hit there, and perhaps switching out one of these for Don Julio's to get another 1% hit, and then here using Maelstrom, right? Because I think if there's any item in Blackwing Lair we are going to have a really difficult time acquiring, it's going to be the Drake Fang Talisman, unless they rain from the sky, but you know, I don't see that happening. You end up with 1% more hit than you actually need, and there's no real way to work around that. It's like, oh no, 1% extra hit. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to make you do more damage. All I wanted to say was you're 1% over the hit cap if you have Nature's Guidance, which I'm just going to assume you have. If you don't have Nature's Guidance, obviously you're going to need to get 6% hit here, so you'd need even more hit items. You'd have to use Don Julio's Band, you'd have to use Wrist Guards of True Flight, and then you'd be at 6% gear hit, which is all you need with an axe, because axe skill is so amazing for orcs. If you're a troll or a tauren, again, you need 9% hit, and you basically have to abandon the Black Dragon Scale set, which is very sad, so try not to do that. And final thing I want to touch on is this is what I would call minimal drama gear set. So you're going to have the most craftable stuff, all 3 Black Dragon Scale pieces, craftable gauntlets. You're going to be using Don Julio's instead of Quick Strike Ring, and Maelstrom instead of Drake Fang Talisman. Anybody should really be able to acquire this stuff who's in Blackwing Lair and, you know, killing things fairly regularly. Your attack power goes down a little bit, and your crit chance stays about the same. It's really not that bad, honestly. So anybody should be able to acquire this stuff, and like all these gear sets that I've, you know, ever made, all this stuff's going to be linked below. And if the links stop working, let me know, and I'll fix that. Okay, that's going to be it for this quickly thrown together and edited Blackwing Lair guide. I hope the quality is sufficient for everyone. I had to do this while I was traveling and visiting family over Christmas. I'm currently in a back room talking into someone's old mic, and I'm just hoping it doesn't sound like complete crap. If you have any questions or comments or anything you need clarified, please just let me know in the comments below. Give me a follow/subscribe, whatever you're currently feeling like, on Twitch at the Holderhek. Give me a subscribe here, ring the bell so you know when new videos are coming out. And one final thing, I feel like if you're still watching the video at this point, you probably enjoy the content on this channel and you enjoy my opinion on things. If there's any other games or topics you'd like me to branch out and talk about, please let me know in the comments below. I'm constantly looking for new content to give you guys and new info to give you guys, and if you want to hear me talk about something other than Shaman and World of Warcraft, I'm 100% down. Anyway, this is Holderhek signing off. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, or whatever you're currently doing, and I'll be back to my usual streaming schedule in January. Until then, bye-bye.